on this concept of quick fix justice used by some states in the form of bulldozer justice. The court has opined that even if there is one instance of illegal demolition, then it is against the ethos of the Constitution. It has put a stay on all demolitions till the 1st of October, saying it is going to come up with comprehensive guidelines for the same. Of course, the court has also exempted any incursions, any encroachment into public land where the state has the right to take that land back in case of an encroachment. But that is not the issue at hand here. That is not what was challenged by the petitioners in this case. What was under challenge was using bulldozers as some kind of a retributive justice instrument. Will this, today's order by the Supreme Court and what it has said in pretty uncertain terms, will that stop bulldozers being used in this form of instant retributive justice? And also a question for the courts of law to clarify how they are going to deal with the backlog of cases, the inordinate delays in trials, which is what is leading to these unconstitutional quick fixes like bulldozers in the first place. But first, the story so far.
बुलडोजर न्याय नहीं हो सकता है। बुलडोजर अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल था। बुलडोजर लोगों को डराने के लिए था। बुलडोजर जानबूझ करके विपक्ष की आवाज़ को दबाने के लिए था।
अखिलेश यादव जी ने अपने ही विधायक रामपाल यादव के घर पर बुलडोजर नाराज होकर के चलवाया था, या उद्धव ठाकरे ने नाराज होकर के कंगना रनौत के घर पर बुलडोजर चलाया था। ऐसी बुलडोजर की कार्रवाई तो रुकनी ही चाहिए।
So let's get you an overview of what the court said, because this has ramifications for not just this form of bulldozer justice, but also it is putting guardrails on state action. This is what the court has said. Even if there is one instance of illegal demolition, it is against the ethos of the Constitution. We will not come between any unauthorized construction, but the executive cannot be a judge. After the previous order, many ministers have come out and said that bulldozer action will continue. We propose setting guidelines on a pan-India basis to address all concerns expressed by the petitioners. Till the next date, which is in the first week of October, there will be a stay across the country on all demolition without the leave of court. The heavens won't fall if the demolitions are halted for a week. Encroachments on public roads, railroad tracks and water bodies are not covered by today's ruling. So will this set a framework and put some kind of guardrails on excessive state action, whether it is in the form of retributive instant justice like bulldozers, or leaving people to incarcerate for years on end without trial to begin, as we have seen in the instance of Mr. Kejriwal and others who were released precisely for one of the reasons that you cannot incarcerate someone just because a trial is inordinately delayed. Let me now go across to our guests who are joining us. Dr. Kaushalkant Mishra is spokesperson of the UP BJP, Pradeep Bhati, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Kash Adikari, political analyst, Sumit Chandra, advocate, is also joining us. Mr. Kaushal Mishra, let me start with you. I'm going to read 2-3 portions from today's judgment by the Supreme Court. Even if there is one instance of illegal demolition, it is against the ethos of the Constitution. We will not come between an unauthorized construction.
I am not able to hear.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry. Yes,
yeah.
Now I can hear.
We won't come between unauthorized construction, but the executive cannot be a judge. After the previous order, many ministers have said that bulldozer action will continue. We propose setting guidelines on a pan-India basis to address these concerns. Basically, the court is saying that any state, not just Uttar Pradesh, but any state, cannot use bulldozers as an instant quick fix justice instrument.
Yes, it's clear. No government can act like a judge. But the parliament and executive has laid down their own principle. It is certified by the constitution, passed by parliament as well as different Vidhan Sabhas. There is a procedure of law. Even the Supreme Court in today's judgment said that they are not staying anything where there is illegal construction. you have already quoted that public roads, footpath, railway lines, other public spaces such as water bodies. So it is the stay of those property who are officially under basically the passed by the government areas like DDA in Delhi, LDA in Lucknow. It's like that. But if there is some construction made beyond that, means extra coverage of a space, that should not be demolished. Obviously, that should not be demolished. And no government is becoming the judge. They are just following the rules of law, whatever they laid down by the constitution. And for your information, all over the country in 2020 to 23, 1,53,820 homes was bulldozed all over the country. So it's not only Uttar Pradesh, it's all over the country. I am giving you the data.
No, but Dr. Kaushal Mishra, no, one second. The problem is not that. No, the problem is not that. The problem is bulldozer was used in many times, and the Supreme Court has also pointed out to this in July 2023 when the Supreme Court raised concerns about the government's actions regarding bulldozing houses and the link to politically motivated cases. In many instances, what was happening was something politically inconvenient was happening, and the state was using bulldozer to settle the political case. And this illegal construction was just being used as an excuse or a fig leaf. Court has also underlined that today in today's order, that you cannot use bulldozer for settling political scores.
Obviously, yes. Nobody can use the bulldozer for the setting the political scores. But tell me, there is all over the country, if 1,53,000 bulldozer has been done, obviously there must be some mafias, some gundas, and some politicians also. If the person is politically active and he is getting some coverage from some political party, it will come in the media. And for your kind information, I am telling you the BJP official members like Srikant Tyagi in Greater Noida, Devendra Pandey in the Prayagraj, Nand Gopal Nandri who was the ex-minister, Rajiv Rana in the Bareilly, they are BJP leaders and their home was bulldozed. Apart from other things, we set the principle, we are party with the difference. Mr. Nitin Gadkari, who is our minister, he bulldozed his own in-laws house because it was illegal. It was coming in between the road. So what is harm in that?
Okay.
But I am saying
Bhatti of Samajwadi Party respond to that.
Bulldozer.
What Mr. Mishra of the BJP and what BJP spokespersons are saying is that the demolition has to do with illegal construction. Today the court has also said any encroachments on public roads, railroad tracks and water bodies will not be covered under today's ruling. So what is illegal is illegal. What is encroached is encroached. And if the municipal corporation, the local authorities are passing orders that it has to be demolished, then that is the law. That is how the law must be treated.
Thank you, Jacob, and good evening to all. Firstly, I want to say that today's Honorable Supreme Court has perceived the same what our Honorable Leader Kash Adikari and Samajwadi Party was saying from a long time. Today I found that Kaushalji was a little bit confused. He was, one hand he was talking about criminals and mafias, and at the same time when they go to the Supreme Court, they only talk about demolition related to the illegal construction. So please make up your mind and stop this chest thumping and stating that this is done on the mafias and all the criminals. So that is not the case. That what affidavit and the opinion you have stated in front of the Honorable Supreme Court, that is done only for the illegal construction. Secondly, the illegal demolition, what Honorable Supreme Court has said, illegal demolition is against the ethos of the Constitution. So Kaushal, you have to understand that illegal, whatever you are doing was against the ethos of Constitution. This is not the first time Honorable Supreme Court has said whatever government is doing is against the Constitution. Is the third time in the row the Honorable Supreme Court has stated that. That means government is doing all illegal, unconstitutional things. And secondly, my dear friend, it is not today's judgment was is wholly upon the demolition also. They have stayed demolition also. You cannot do demolition till 1st of October till the next hearing in the Supreme Court.
Okay,
so
Dr. Mishra, please respond.
The
fact that the court has said all demolitions
one or two more points.
across India will stop. Heavens won't fall if demolitions are halted for a week till fresh guidelines are issued by the Supreme Court. That in itself is an indictment, Dr. Mishra.
Jaka, I think you go through the last line of the order in which the top court express its feeling that demolition can't be carried out, only it can be carried out as per procedure in accordance with the law. It was said by Justice Gawai. I don't know what Samajwadi Party spokesperson has till now, because I don't find what I said is
Jacob,
something
you
confusing. I am
interrupt
talking very clearly.
I think
please,
you have to.
Please, Jaka, please.
No,
please.
one at a time, one
Jaka,
at a time.
please.
Please, let Dr. Mishra finish, yeah.
Okay.
One at a time, yeah.
So I have quoted incidences on which the BJP leader home was demolished by our government. I quoted what was the Supreme Court has said. I am very clear that Supreme Court has not stopped Bulldozer for any illegal construction. Supreme Court stayed only for those who are the
No.
in the legal colonies
What the court
and
has said,
encroaching certain areas.
what the court has said is till the next date there should be a stay on all demolition without the leave of court, which means that unless the court gives
Yes.
express consent,
Yes,
you cannot
please,
have
read
you
the
cannot
court.
have demolition
But
till
read
1st of
the-
October. Okay, let me
Please, I will
Yeah,
request-
one second,
Jaka,
one second.
I don't
Let
want
me-
to, I don't want to debate.
Just
I don't want to debate, but come to the last para of the judgment. Please come to the last para where it says that demolition can be carried out. Demolition can be carried out only as per
On the-
procedure in accordance with the law.
Okay.
And till the time, just 10 seconds, till the time Uttar
They
Pradesh
have
has
to
got
take permission from
done
the
the
court.
maximum demolition, and none has
They
been
have to take
changed,
permission
none has
from the
been
court
stopped
till
by
first.
any court of law.
Okay, let me
None
go
has been
go
stopped by
across
the
to
any court of law.
Okay,
the
okay,
other
okay.
two
Everything
guests.
was
Let me
done
go
as
to
per
the
the-
other two guests, please, with your permission. Kash Adikari and then Sumit Chandra is also joining us. Kash Adikari, I think the larger messaging of today's judgment is that the state cannot have unfettered means to try and deliver some form of instant justice. A, that is unconstitutional, as today's order says. And B, it's almost like we believe in, it's like what comes in the movies, right? This hero who comes out there, larger than life figure, beats up the bad guys. That's not how societies or places where there is rule of law function. There has to be a procedure, there has to be a set down set of laws. We have that, and within the framework of the law, whatever justice has to be meted within the framework of that law. The problem with bulldozer justice was A, it was a quick fix. B, as the court today has opined, it was unconstitutional. Just because you have a political problem or a said crime A allegedly against one person, you cannot destroy his or her property for said crime B, because that is basically illegal. It's founded on illegalities. If you're going to use retributive means, quick fixes like bulldozers, to send out a message to other potential offenders or to send out a message to this particular offender in this case, you cannot use offense A allegedly to settle offense B. Kailash.
Zaka, you're absolutely right. Firstly, we as a nation, India as a nation, here we follow the rule of law. And what we welcome the decision and the judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, which is a temple of judiciary in our nation. And we all know the background of this. A batch of petitions were filed in somewhere around 2022, early 2022, challenging certain illegal demolition using bulldozers. But having said that, Zaka, I'd like to, concur my views and agree with one point that Mr. Kaushal Mishra has said, that the Supreme Court has very clearly stated that till the next date of hearing, no demolition to take place without the leave of the court. But if there is any unauthorized encroachment or any public spaces, railway lines, footpaths, that is not covered under this judgment. So the Supreme Court has been very categorically clear on what is a bulldozer action and what is not a bulldozer action, firstly. Secondly, when Solicitor General, presented in the Honorable Supreme Court that, he can't have a pan-India direction given to all about that no one can use a demolition, because this is not about just one state. When the Supreme Court is saying we are not talking about one matter, because it is a batch of petitions. And where the Honorable Court has also mentioned that it is invoking a special power under Article 142 of the Constitution of India, which is given to the Supreme Court in that sense. Well, I do agree with the fact, Zaka, which you rightly mentioned, that if a particular person has committed an offense A, that does not mean that under offense A, if his house need not necessarily be bulldozed, his house is getting bulldozed for offense A, whereas that offense does not involve that. Or let's say that particular person's, for example, brother has committed an offense and his house should be demolished for that. Our law does not say that. If an offense is committed by a father, that does not come on to his son. And that is what the law says that. So yes, the Honorable Supreme Court has meted out justice, but the opposition should not take it as a victory or a moral victory, because here we are not specifying any particular case where the opposition has any reasons to, bajao the bigul about it.
Okay, so let me bring Sumit Chandra. There have been other instances in the past where Supreme Court and other high courts have sort of pulled up the warning sign on things like bulldozer justice, instant quick fixes. In June 2022, the Supreme Court had warned in a matter involving the UP government that demolitions have to be in accordance with the law. They cannot be seen as retaliatory. In July 2023, I had mentioned this earlier, that the Supreme Court had raised concerns over the government's actions regarding bulldozer houses and their alleged link to politically motivated cases. In August 2023, the Punjab and Haryana High Court had questioned demolitions that happened in New, saying that buildings belonging to a particular community are being brought down under the guise of law and order. The problem is, in all of these instances, what the court is saying is that it cannot be seen as A, retaliatory, and B, it cannot be used as an instrument of retribution for a crime which has nothing to do with whether that building was legally built or illegally built.
To Zaka, let us see all this. I totally agree with you, but we need to see all this in the light of the Constitution. Now, what does Constitution say on this, so far as demolitions of properties are concerned, or right over properties are concerned? In fact, there's an Article 300A. So, Constitution guarantees the right to property to every citizen of India under Article 300A. It states that no person in our country shall be deprived of their property, except of course by the authority of law. Now this also means that a person's property cannot be demolished arbitrarily without following the legal due process. The question here, kept again by Supreme Court time and again, has been whether the due process of law has been followed or not. Now even if you look at it, whether notice, which is a mandate in law, that notice must be served first to show cause to that whether this building should be removed or pulled down or not. Whether those things have been done in this case or not, the building can only be demolished if the owner fails to show sufficient cause in response to that notice. So if you've not followed the due process of law, which time and again, and even in this present judgment, Supreme Court says that you need to follow the due process. You cannot just take away a person's right to property, which is his fundamental right enshrined under Article 300A of the Constitution.
Okay. Let me go back to Pradeep Bhati and to Dr. Mishra. Pradeep Bhati, so the point that some of the BJP spokespersons have been making is that I believe when Mr. Akhilesh Yadav was Chief Minister, he had run a bulldozer on one of his own party men. In Maharashtra, the house of Kangana Ranaut, at least portions of that house were demolished because again it was illegally constructed. So when the opposition uses bulldozer, it's fine, but when the BJP uses bulldozer, it's a problem.
No, we never had that mindset, and we have never appreciated these kind of incidents or acts. Secondly, what Kaushal was saying, that it was only done, that it has done also on the BJP members. But let me tell him that BHU rape case, 3 IT cell, BJP IT cell members were bulldozer was sent to those people. Many rapes, and even their state vice president was involved in a prostitution case. Has bulldozer reached there? Has these paper mafias houses bulldozer reached? All the sand mafias and those funding BJP, these kind of all mafias funding BJP, has bulldozer reached there? Top 10 mafias of one of UP are from one community. Over 100 cases. 99, 80. There is a competition going on in these top 10.
But Bhati Saab, this is the same thing as saying,
that century.
One second. Bhati Saab, why are you bringing caste into this? Why are you bringing caste into this?
This is not the right way.
No, Bhatti Sahab, why are you bringing caste into this? This is the same thing as saying.
Because you are doing selective.
No, last week there was an encounter of a gangster. Somehow you have brought caste into that. Now here again you are saying caste. The mafias are from one particular caste. What has caste got to do with it?
Can I reply now?
Yeah.
Now, can I reply now?
Yes.
Now this is how you can expose the selective mindset of Honorable CM of Uttar Pradesh. You must be aware that he has taken 2 names in the Vidhan Sabha, and both of them were not present at that spot at that time. And what about the rest 20? So don't try to save a casteist mindset here and tell me that okay, you are bringing caste to this thing.
No, you brought it. No, nobody else on the panel brought it. How does it matter what caste this person belongs to? If it is illegal, it is illegal.
If you want to stop me after every sentence and you want to break my flow, doesn't make any sense, Jacob.
No, Bhatti Sahab, your flow also has to make sense.
Has said.
Your flow also has to be based on facts. Your flow can't just be you say whatever you wish to and then expect everybody else to, allow you to get away with it.
No. What I am saying, I am giving you the examples. I am giving you the example. Has Honorable CM not said taken one religion and one caste name in the Vidhan Sabha? You should have stopped him and you should have criticized him. And you are stopping me here. And let me wait. Let me come to the main basic points. No, you have wasted my time in debating with you.
The UP government is using Bulldozer
hang on.
to try and carry out retributive justice. Now, one second, Bhatti Sahab, you've spoken now. Let Dr. Mishra respond. Yeah.
I am just clarifying the fact to all the viewers what SP spokesperson wanted to bring the caste factor. In 2023, 20% of the bulldozed house belongs to SC, ST, OBCs and minority. Rest all are non-SC, ST minority. In 2022, there is 27%. In 2023, 36% belong to SC, ST, OBC and minority. Rest all are non-SC, ST minority. So you are exposed. This is 1. 2. Jamaat-e-Ulema Hind approached to the Supreme Court and he filed the case. Today's only discussion, if you go for the Supreme Court discussion, according to Jamaat-e-Ulema Hind, 70 shops in Madhya Pradesh was bulldozed and all belongs to minority community, which was clarified in the Supreme Court today only. Only 20 shops belongs to the minority community, rest all are majority. So every time whenever there is some act against the criminals, people were trying to, especially Samajwadi Party and Indi Gadbandhan, trying to bring caste factor. I am just asking, when there is a matter of terrorists, then they say there is no religion of terrorist. Okay. But when there is problem of crime, they say there is criminal has got caste. This is the duality of the Indi Gadbandhan as well as Samajwadi Party.
I'm going to the next story, which is
the criminals
in Delhi.
And religion. Tell your Chief Minister, please. Jacob, ask him to
can you
say
something on the data?
Rather
can you say something on the data instead of coming and saying the political
you are giving the wrong data. I am telling you 120 bulldozers or 120 houses or bulldozed only for minority community. You are not even near to the data.
If there are 1,53,000 bulldozed houses, obviously certain belong to the minority, certain belong to the majority. So what is happening in that? Every criminal and every criminal will get the punishment, and bulldozer is not a punishment. Bulldozer is not a punishment. If anybody has done some illegal construction, obviously bulldozer will come. It is not for the justice, it is for the enforcement. You have to understand.
I want to make
the point.
I'll leave it at that. Like I said, we will see how the court, what sort of guidelines and pan-India guidelines today. The court has clarified that it will come up with that in the next hearing on the 1st of October. We will see what sort of guidelines the court puts in place. But for now, I think the court has sent out a powerful message that whatever crime, whoever is alleged of doing that crime, it has to be treated as per the law and it has to be adjudicated upon as per the provisions of the law that are involved in that particular matter, and that instant justice or quick fixes or retributive instruments like bulldozer justice cannot be used as a means of scoring or settling scores for a matter that has nothing to do with encroachment in the first place. Let's now move on to the other big story, the big political story out of Delhi, where Delhi Minister Atishi is now all set to become the new Chief Minister of the national capital. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal proposed her name as his successor at a meeting of the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, who all unanimously agreed that Atishi will be the chosen successor to Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal has formally resigned from his position as Chief Minister. Atishi has now staked claim to helm the Delhi government. She thanked Arvind Kejriwal and said that he will return as Chief Minister again soon. Slamming the BJP, Atishi said that political vendetta was unleashed against Kejriwal in an attempt to tarnish his image. She will be the third woman Chief Minister of Delhi after Sushma Swaraj and Sheila Dikshit. The BJP has slammed the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that a new Chief Minister does not negate the corruption allegations against the Aam Aadmi Party and against Mr. Kejriwal and Mr. Sisodia. The BJP also released a poster calling Atishi a puppet Chief Minister.
केजरीवाल जी की गिरफ्तारी गलत थी, एक दुर्भावना के तहत की गई थी। अगर कोई भी और नेता होता, कोई भी और मुख्यमंत्री होता, तो वो तुरंत जाके मुख्यमंत्री की कुर्सी पर बैठ गया। लेकिन अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने जो फैसला लिया, शायद ही इस देश के इतिहास में, मैं कहूंगी इस दुनिया के लोकतांत्रिक इतिहास में किसी नेता ने लिया होगा। उन्होंने कहा कि मेरे लिए सिर्फ सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला काफी नहीं है, मुझे दिल्ली की जनता का फैसला चाहिए। मैं दिल्ली की जनता की अदालत में जाऊंगा और अगर दिल्ली की जनता कहेगी कि अरविंद केजरीवाल ईमानदार है, तो मैं तभी मुख्यमंत्री की कुर्सी पे बैठूंगा।
आज मुख्यमंत्री जी ने उपराज्यपाल महोदय को अपना इस्तीफा सौंपा है। साथ ही साथ दिल्ली के अंदर आगे सरकार को संचालित करने के लिए सुबह आम आदमी पार्टी के विधायक मंडल दल की बैठक हुई थी। बैठक में सर्वसम्मति से आतिशी जी को अपना विधानमंडल दल का नेता चुना गया था। हमने आम आदमी पार्टी के विधानमंडल दल का जो फैसला है, पार्टी की तरफ से उपराज्यपाल जी को सूचित किया है और साथ ही साथ हमारे विधायक दल की नेता आतिशी जी की तरफ से जल्द सरकार बनाने के लिए दावेदारी प्रस्तुत की गई है।
जिस मंत्रिमंडल ने दिल्ली के विभिन्न विभागों में भ्रष्टाचार किया है, अपने मंत्रिमंडल की ही एक साथी जो उन भ्रष्टाचार के सारे जो प्रारूप थे उसमें शामिल रही हैं, ऐसी आतिशी मार लेना को मुख्यमंत्री का उम्मीदवार घोषित करना सीधा दिल्ली को अराजकता और कम्युनिज्म की तरफ धकेलने का उनका प्रारूप है।
All right, let me go across to our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh, who is now joining us. The question is, why Atishi? There were other claimants as well for Mr. Kejriwal to seat as Delhi Chief Minister. Why Atishi? The BJP is saying she's a puppet Chief Minister. Is that, though, necessarily a fair criticism?
So, yeah, but eventually she is actually ending up becoming a puppet Chief Minister because, you know, if you listen to her soundbite after her name was announced, she very clearly made it out it's going to be all about Arvind Kejriwal. Plus the fact is that when AAP heads for elections and the campaign begins, the CM face is not going to be her, the CM face is going to be Arvind Kejriwal. As to why she was chosen, well, according to AAP, she ticks all the right boxes. Woman factor, to counter the narrative that Swati Maliwal episode gave that color to AAP of being anti-woman. Second, she is qualified, she has administrative experience, and most importantly, someone who I think Kejriwal has faith in, who's not going to emerge as a challenger or a contender to him, and she'll very smoothly give up the seat when if AAP wins and he becomes the Chief Minister.
But there have been instances, you know, where people who could have been considered at that time even more lightweight than Atishi, whether it was a Jitan Ram Manji in the case of Nitish Kumar, whether it was just recently Champai Soren in the case of Hemant Soren, who refused to give up the chair, or eventually there was a political fallout of them not giving up the chair. Do you not foresee, does the AAP not foresee such a thing? with Atishi?
I want to rule out that possibility because in politics, just about anything can happen. But AAP is a personality-driven party, and you're going to see it from day one. I mean, while she's going to be in charge of the government, almost the nitty-gritty, everything is going to be controlled and micromanaged by Arvind Kejriwal. At the end of the day, the power of the CM or of the leader will also come in from the kind of support she gets from within the party. And I think Arvind Kejriwal's calculation is that she's going to be least dangerous, if I can use those words, as the AAP insiders insist on, to him, and her ambitions are definitely not going to come in the way. In fact, rather, the AAP's calculation is that she really has no ambition. So therefore, they don't foresee a trouble. But I mean, in politics, as we all know, just anything can happen.
Okay, Pallavi Ghosh, we'll leave it at that. I just want to explain and deep dive into the reasons why Atishi, of all the others who are MLAs of the Aam Aadmi Party, remember they won a big mandate back in 2020. It was over 60 out of the 70 MLAs in the Delhi Assembly belonged to the Aam Aadmi Party. Reason one, that she was a symbol of the trust that Kejriwal placed in her. She was handling, I think, about 14 odd portfolios. Also, her increasing stature within the party. Remember, when the top leadership was sent to jail, it was basically Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj who were sort of holding fort. The other reason, of course, she's very articulate. She is fairly well articulate in both English as well as in Hindi. She's very well educated, a Rhodes Scholar, went to Oxford. Also has defended pretty vigorously some of the signature policies of the Aam Aadmi Party government, including the education policy. She, in fact, worked very closely with Mr. Manish Sisodia on improving the lot of primary schools, government primary schools, and that is something that she has articulated very well for the party and for the government. Also, transformation within the Delhi government, as I mentioned, particularly the government schools, because she was the special education advisor to Manish Sisodia when the Department of Education was with him, and oversaw the transformation of government schools. Also has grassroots experience. Remember, she's an MLA. She won a tough seat in South Delhi last election, has a basic understanding also of the various social factors and the caste balancing that is done in a multicultural melting pot like the national capital. Also, the other big criteria is that she's a woman. And remember, one of the big schemes that the AAP is going to roll out between now and the election is 1,000 rupees for all women across poor households in the national capital, and she will be the face of that scheme. Also, the recent allegations of assault against Swati Maliwal, who used to be the Delhi Commission for Women chairperson, also Aam Aadmi Party MP, this will now blunt those allegations as well, those charges as well. So these are some of the reasons why Atishi has been chosen out of the field, which included others like Kailash Gehlot and Gopal Rai, etc. The Aam Aadmi Party leadership, and Mr. Kejriwal in particular, seems to have taken this political bet, this political calculation for two reasons. One, it helps establish the AAP and himself get some kind of a moral high ground. And two, she seemed to be the least threatening of upsetting the apple cart if the situation arose that AAP wins again and that Mr. Kejriwal wants to come back as Chief Minister. All right, I want to talk next about what's been going on as far as the Modi government is concerned. Today is a milestone. It's 100 days of the Modi 3.0 government. It is also the birthday of the Prime Minister. He turned 74 today. I spoke to Union Minister Kiren Rijiju on some of the big achievements, the change of political dynamic in New Delhi after the 2024 verdict, and some of the most pressing challenges on the political and electoral road ahead for the Modi third term. Joining me now is Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju. Thank you very much, Mr. Rijiju, for speaking with us. So clearly a lot has happened over the last 100 days in terms of welfare schemes and development. Projects worth 15 lakh crores have been launched, both through the budget and off budget. 20,000 crores have been disbursed under PM Kisan. Some of the colonial era IPC codes have been changed. The whole thing has been now the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But tell us, one of the contentions that's been made, and particularly by folks in the opposition, is Mr. Modi 3.0, his government does not have the same kind of majority that the previous two terms have had, and therefore the ability to take tough decisions, pass through reforms is limited. How would you respond to that?
First of all, we are very excited that within the first 100 days of Modi ji's third term, we have been able to achieve what many governments could not achieve in their entire tenure. The total amount of expenditure which are going to be spent on the welfare schemes and other infrastructure projects, if you see the total amount in which is affecting the life of the people, for the opposition party, they can't even imagine. The opposition parties have very limited thinking about the welfare of the people as well as to taking forward the country. That is why they are not able to understand. More than that, they are unable to digest that Modi ji has come back to power for the third term. Now, first 1500 days, total 15 lakh crore money to be utilized for the welfare of the people, and many of which we have already started the process of implementation. And if you just break up little bit, 11,111 crore is only for the capital expenditure. 3 lakh crore will be only spent for the welfare of the women. 2 lakh crore will be spent for the youth. Now, if you break up in this way, you will find how meticulously we are going to transform the life of the common people of our country. The 100 days agenda is not a sudden agenda which we have come up with.
Okay.
Before the election only, the process of preparation for the 100 days action plan was already on the move. And I, being a minister in many departments, I have personally seen how Modi ji has planned out, not in compartmental basis, but linking all the welfare schemes together through whole of the government approach. So, in last 60 years during Congress regime, they have reduced India to a poor nation. Congress could not make India even an aspiring nation. Those nations which together came up with India, you see Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, Korea, China, we all started at the same time. But today, some of their income, Singapore, more than 20 times the per capita of India. Look at South Korea. They have 15 times more per capita GDP than India. Who made it? So, if opposition party is not able to understand the success of the Modi government, means they simply do not have the vision for the people of this country. That is why they are ridiculing it. The success of Modi government is decided by the people of this country. That is why we have come back to power for the third term.
But sir, tell me this. We have also seen in these past 100 days, in these past 100 days of the third term, U-turns or rollbacks. Whether it was the UPSC lateral entry move that was rolled back, the draft broadcasting bill was withdrawn, the Waqf bill, and you are familiar with this. The Waqf bill was sent to a standing committee, basically put in cold storage. Again, the contention is being made by the opposition that, look, all these U-turns and rollbacks are happening because Mr. Modi does not have the kind of majority that he had in 2019 or in 2014. How would you respond to that?
No, we need not respond to this kind of unjustified remarks. Modi government do not function under the guidance or pressure of the opposition party. Our government is guided by the interests of this country. In terms of policies, there can be change in policies as per the need of the time, but that doesn't reflect on the governance itself. Our concern is how to make India a rich country, how to make India a developed country. The strong foundation has been laid in last 10 years, and we have started the process of implementation in a much faster rate in last 100 days. Modi ji has already promised to the people of this country that in his third term, we will work 3 times harder, 3 times faster, 3 times better So that is why in this 100 days of our third term, we have executed and successfully implemented many of the schemes. That
But
is
how
why
do you
opposition
explain the
people cannot
U-turns?
digest.
How do you explain the U-turns?
They don't understand what is the meaning of adjusting the policies and programs. The Prime Minister can take decisions and take mid-course correction. How does it matter to them? As long as people of India are benefiting from our policy, how does the opposition parties are bothered about when we change our policies and all? We are changing the policies, or we are implementing policies based on the need of the people. The opposition party is the most irresponsible opposition party ever I have seen. They have no moral right to even comment on our governance and achievement. These opposition parties, I tried as a parliamentary affairs minister, I tried to reach out to all of them. But from the day one, they played the negative politics. Right from the appointment of the pro-tem speaker, they boycotted. Is this part of the parliamentary democracy? They have broken the parliamentary system, the conventions. Never before there was an instance where opposition party boycotted in the election of the pro-tem speaker. For the first time, you are a senior journalist, you will recall from 1951 onwards, has there been a single occasion where the speech of the Prime Minister in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is disrupted? Is it the way parliamentary democracy functions? When the opposition parties speak on their own turns, we allowed them to speak. When Prime Minister's turn came, they all jumped to the well of the house and did not allow PM to speak. I feel sorry for the opposition party. They are forget about behaving like responsible citizens. They have miserably failed to perform the duty of the opposition party. They are not fit to be even opposition party in our system.
All right. I want to ask one final question before I let you go, because you hail from the Northeast. Again, for the last 16 months, we have seen the situation in Manipur, including last week when there were protests by the students. How would you respond to the charge that the central government has mishandled this problem in Manipur?
First of all, one must be very clear and one must be very honest in talking about Manipur problem. The ethnic conflict between the Meiteis and Kukis erupted after the judgment and order of the High Court. The conflict between the various ethnic groups within Manipur and in other parts of the country are happening since Congress time. For more than 10 years, the Naga and Kuki conflict had taken place. For so many years, the Meiteis and Nagas had problems. Meiteis and Kukis had problems. There were years and years blockade in the Manipur. Did anybody bother to talk about that? Now, if anybody wants to see peace in Manipur, then please don't add fuel to the fire. They must understand that you have to appeal for peace, and peace will come when both the sides give up the arms and come to the negotiation table. Home Minister has, in a numerous occasion, engaged with them and asked them to the negotiation table. So if you want to see peace in Manipur, appeal for peace. Don't add fuel to the fire. Don't instigate.
All right.
Don't try to create more problems so that they can defame the Modi government. Don't do that. For God's sake, please appeal for the peace. Tell both the parties, give up arms, come to the negotiation table. What Modi ji has done for the Northeast in 10 years, the Congress government in their 6 years rule, they could not do anything. More than 10,000 arms our militants have surrendered in last 10 years.
All right.
And these armed militancy were generated during Congress time. Congress is the genesis of all the problems in the northeastern region.
All right, Mr. Rijiju, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us here on CNN News 18.
A confident government which is not on the defensive. In fact, it plans to push ahead its ambitious agenda in the coming days. The flurry of decisions taken by the Modi government in the first 100 days shows the path ahead for Modi 3.0 in this term. Well, going ahead, the One Nation, One Poll will be implemented in the tenure of this government. The report of the Ramnath Kovind Committee is already with the centre. The centre could also begin the census exercise soon, and caste may be a part of it. The centre is contemplating that. It will also take steps to restore statehood to Jammu and Kashmir in the minimum possible time post the elections. The reports of 4 to 5 states on studying the contours of the Uniform Civil Code are also expected in the next couple of months after Uttarakhand has already implemented it. This follows several decisions taken in the first 100 days of the government, which show a confident government which is not on the defensive but plans to implement its big agenda. What are these major decisions which have been taken by Modi 3.0 in the first 100 days? While Mr. Narendra Modi had put bureaucrats on the job before the Lok Sabha elections to draw up plans for the first 100 days, the BJP is clear that the 240-seat verdict for it is historic, as it had left many seats for its allies in the pre-poll alliance that did not contest all 543 seats itself. The NDA allies have won many of those seats, while the Congress itself could not cross even 99 seats. Budget and 2.5 lakh houses have installed solar power. All these have been the big moves in the first 100 days. The Modi government also says that it is a farmer-friendly government. The government is keen to project this farmer-friendly image as the total PM Kisan Nidhi payout has touched rupees 3 lakh crore so far, while rupees 2 lakh crore additional benefit has reached the farmers by way of increase in MSP in the tenure of this government. This is the record of 120% procurement under MSP, which stood at just 33% in the UPA time. The Modi government took this route to benefit farmers rather than the populist route of farm loan waiver taken by the UPA in the past, and has managed to cover input costs of 82% of farmers in India who have less than 2.5 acres of land, thereby making them loan free. Sources also say that the opposition, which sees PM Kisan Nidhi through the prism of politics, is completely wrong. It is a scheme, in fact, to empower farmers and not a freebie. Another major decision has been to extend Ayushman Bharat benefit to all aged 70 years and above. This move will benefit nearly 6 crore such citizens. This was also a poll promise made by the BJP. India also now has a foreign policy with a spine. Many people say that it discovered this spine as the world is now looking at India with hope after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's trips to Russia and Ukraine in the first 100 days of his government. Modi has also been the first Indian PM to visit Austria after a gap of 41 years and Poland after a gap of 45 years, while he became the first Indian PM to visit Brunei. India also hosted more than 120 countries in the Voice of Global Summit. Tightening laws. One of the biggest decisions in the first 100 days was the enactment of the 3 new criminal laws by the Union Home Ministry, which could make India the most modern criminal justice system soon by cutting down investigation and judicial delays. The government has also declared June 25th as Samvidhan Hatya Divas to make the youth know about the dark days of the emergency imposed by Indira Gandhi government. Sources say that the Samvidhan Hatya Divas is not a political event, as the idea is to resolve every year to safeguard the democracy ethos. The Waqf Amendment Bill was also brought in the last 100 days to the Parliament as a means to remove appeasement policies and for better administration and protection of Waqf properties in the country. To quote Mr. Modi to the Council of Ministers last month, he said, "We will work 3 times harder" in his government's 3rd term, and advised all his colleagues to work 3 times harder as well. Now, what ahead? The BJP under Mr. Narendra Modi faces big electoral battles in the next few months, with 5 key states and UTs going to polls. J&K Haryana will poll soon, while Jharkhand and Maharashtra will be polling later this year. Earlier next year, Delhi will also go to elections. All these are key election battles for the BJP, and the party's big mascot in these key state battles will again be Narendra Modi, who will be extensively campaigning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will play a crucial role in these campaigns as the party seeks to maintain its stronghold and address the emerging challenges in these states. Prime Minister has flown a fighter aircraft sortie. The PM described his experience of flying the sortie as memorable. Earlier this year, the Prime Minister went underwater in the deep sea and prayed at the site where the submerged city of Dwarka is. This experience offered the Prime Minister a rare and profound connection to India's spiritual and historical roots. Underwater, he also offered peacock feathers as a tribute to Lord Krishna. He had gone snorkeling in Lakshadweep earlier this year as well. Another habit of the Prime Minister has been to visit soldiers posted at the heights on our borders, be it in Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh or Arunachal Pradesh. He started it with a visit to Siachen in 2014 to celebrate Diwali with the Jawans. This year, he was in Kargil on the 25th anniversary of the Kargil Vijay Divas, and last Diwali was spent by PM Modi with Jawans in Lepcha in Himachal Pradesh. In 2020, Mr. Modi had surprised all by travelling to Nimu in Ladakh to interact with Indian troops near the India-China border. In 2022, Modi's pictures from Kargil while trying his hands at guns, or the ones from the Defence Expo in 2020, when he fired at a virtual firing range, had also captured headlines.
First thing in the morning and last thing in the morning, he checks on what has been done during the day and what will be done during the day, and there are action taken reports which have to be placed in front of him no matter where he is, and he does go through them.
Well, these are just some examples to prove that age is just a number for Mr. Modi. His strict diet and yoga regime keeps him fit and raring to go. Mr. Modi's closest aide and the country's Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, has said that not only will Mr. Modi continue as the Prime Minister till 2029, but the next government in 2029 will also be formed under the leadership of Mr. Modi.
Well, the central government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi completes its 100 days of being in power for the third successive term today, coinciding with his 74th birthday as well. Prime Minister Modi's birthday remains much like any other working day, but it does signify an occasion to celebrate the Seva Parv, a fortnight-long festival that the BJP organizes every year to showcase his commitment to citizens' welfare and also service to mankind. Among the first decisions made by the Modi government after coming to power in June this year is approving the 20,000 crore project under the Prime Minister Kisan Samman Nidhi, which is to benefit around 9 crore farmers. The first 100 days of the Modi 3.0 government also saw the income tax slab of rupees 3 lakh to rupees 6 lakh expanded to rupees 3 lakh to rupees 7 lakh. The government also announced the abolition of 31% angel tax, which it claimed had been burdening startups since 2012. The government in fact approved a package of rupees 2 lakh crore in a bid to promote employment and skill development amongst the youth. These are just a couple of projects to name a few of his initiatives.
Narendra Modi is 74 and age is just a number for the Prime Minister. He is doing things that others his age don't and maybe simply can't. From a hectic election campaign to flying air sorties or deep sea diving and snorkeling, Mr. Modi has been consistently setting new benchmarks. For starters, the PM did a record-breaking 206 rallies and roadshows.
2 states at the crossroads of change. In Jammu and Kashmir, the stakes have never been higher. Will the promise of peace and progress prevail? In Haryana, as the fight for power intensifies, will alliances and caste equations shape the future? As the battle for states intensifies, tracking every twist, every turn, and every key moment. Only on Battle for the States